All machines are gearing up for the heat, and it's time to see how it'll all go down. Can the former reigning champion Sub-Zero with the CO2 Flipper save some face? Well, let's see as they take on our middleweight machine and powerful control bot Complete Control. The lethal flywheel of Hypnodisc taking on the CO2 Flipper of Siege, who hasn't had the greatest of runs this time around, unfortunately. But first up, it's Mortis with the Tanto Axe Blade and the lifting arm, the Silicon Carbide armor and the tracks up against Mousetrap 2. Let chaos begin! Mortis, Flipper Axe Bot. It has to be said, they have done fantastic this series. Granted, they never made it past the first round of the semis, but they managed to finally get it into gear and have a good series for once. The armor for the most part has been very resilient to attacks, barring the fight with Pika Destroy, and the drive hasn't burst into flames for once. But the ground clearance could still be an issue, as well as the possibility of one of their tracks breaking and getting stuck going in a circle. Mousetrap 2 Trapper. They seriously shocked everyone as they made their way past Firestorm 2 in the Heat Final and made the semis. Seriously, still don't know how they did that. Of course, we know what happened there, so meet Mousetrap 2, the machine they tried entering with, but had a few technical issues. The machine is basically the same as the previous version, only now with exposed wheels. But they also have a much more improved Mousetrap blade, which they think could do them well in this all-star competition.
Roboteers, stand by.
Mortis, the tracked bot with the lifting arm and the Tanto Axe Blade. And Mousetrap 2, successor to Mousetrap, with the Mousetrap Blade, which is actually 2 axe heads. And this will be this machine's first actual fight. Funnily enough, the machine actually hasn't been properly tested, so they have no real idea how well it's going to do. There goes the weapon, and Mortis comes in to try and test them out. And tries to lift them. You missed, Mortis. Sorry. And Mousetrap 2 are in trouble because they're not really doing anything. There's no movement coming out of them. Really, they got their weapon thrown once. That was about it. All of this is Mortis as they come in to try and flip them over again. Now comes down the Tanto Blade. I think Mousetrap has a few problems, and they're about to have another one, which is Mortis throwing them down the pit and out. And that's the end of Mousetrap, and it's Mortis heading on through with Mousetrap into the loser's melee. Oh dear. Well, they did say the machine hadn't been tested. Maybe you should have done that before you put it in the arena, guys. Lessons to learn, maybe, but Mousetrap, they are in the loser's melee. Mortis, they go through. Next up, Hypnodisc and our champs, Siege. Hypnodisc Spinner. Great to see the team have better success than they had in the past 2 wars. The flywheel certainly seems far more impressive and effective than it's ever been. Don't think we ever saw them get flipped over though, so can't really comment on the stream hack. Whether or not it's better than before is a question that still needs answering, and the exposed wheels might prove to be a worry. Siege Flipper. Such a shame to see them crash out as early as they did. They did amazingly in the last wars. The CO2 Flipper still has all the power it did in the last wars, we just never really got to see it. Hopefully they can defend their all-star champion status and add a second trophy to their first, provided their slow speed and limited CO2 supply doesn't cause them problems. And also provided they fixed whatever caused them to crash out as early as they did.
Roboteers, stand by.
Hypnodisc with the giant lethal flywheel, looking very deadly as well. And Siege with the CO2 powered flipper, who sadly haven't had that great of a series this time around. as opposed to their debut in Series 2, and they made the second round of the semifinals.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Can they save face here? Our All-Stars champions, don't forget, as well. With Siege trying and starting to spin around, and another whack from Hypnodisc. And is that the end of Siege? Because Siege is no longer moving. The flipper works, at least. Almost flipped themselves over there. Hypnodisc just sliding up beside him like, hey, you want to talk about your problems or something? This is not the time for that. This is Robot Combat, not marriage counseling. And Hypnodisc nearly perched up on the wall there. And Siege, to give them credit, they're taking the blade of Hypnodisc very well. A few pieces coming off, but nothing too severe. Off comes another panel and into the pit. And Siege crashes out here.
Cease.
And it's Hypnodisc going through with Mortis in the second round. The technical gremlins once again plaguing Siege like they did in Series 3. Dear oh dear, hopefully they can at least repair some of that damage, whatever the problems are, for the losers melee against Mousetrap and whoever our third entrant there is. Honestly, a bit disappointing for Siege, our current All-Stars champion. He's gonna crash out this early, damn. Anyway, next up, Sub-Zero and Complete Control. Complete Control. Control Bot. Unfortunate to go out as early as they did to M2, they were dominating the fight. Just one small mistake was all it took for the tides to turn against Complete Control. But it's still a very impressive machine and shouldn't be underestimated. The drive is very strong, as is the weapon, but its lightness may prove to be its downfall. Sub-Zero Flipper. They were the reigning champions of Series 2 and had an impressive run. Sadly, it all went downhill in Series 3. Flaming barn for that. That's not to say that the machine is no longer a threat. It still very much is, and the drive is quick and the CO2 flipper is quite formidable. But with the weaknesses now well known, beating them won't exactly be the nightmare it once was.
Robot ears, stand by.
Complete Control, the middleweight machine with the lifting forks and the clamping arm. And Sub-Zero, our former reigning champions, with the CO2 powered flipper and the very low front.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
And that low front, well, very quick across the floor, already near Complete Control. It's faster than Complete Control, actually, a lot quicker, and it's zipping around them, and Complete Control can't even drive around to get an attack. Getting caught by the floor flipper now, and Complete Control are in trouble, spinning near the wall and driving near the pit. Complete Control hoping to see Sub-Zero drive into it. And now, well, Complete Control flipped out the arena! And that's the end of Complete Control. I think at the end of this, that was inevitable. Out the arena goes Complete Control. As Sub-Zero does a little somersault backflip in celebration. Complete Control, I don't really think had much of a chance against Sub-Zero. It has to be said, given their speed, Sub-Zero deservedly through. A bit of a shame for Complete Control. I don't think they really stood much of a chance, really, but sadly that's the end result. So Complete Control falls into the losers melee with Siege and Mousetrap 2. Mortis, Hypnodisc, and Sub-Zero head through to the second round. Our losers melee now consists of Mousetrap, Siege, and Complete Control. Not one of these machines really has had a great run here, have they?
Robot ears, stand by.
How how's this Losers Melee gonna play out, I wonder, compared to previous ones we've hosted before? Mousetrap 2 with the trapping mouse weapon blade. Siege with the CO2 powered flipper and low front wedge. And complete control with the lifting forks and the clamping arm.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
I wonder how this is going to go. Complete control, the quickest of the three. And Mousetrap, I think, having the same problems. And complete control now in trouble as they're flipped up and over. And they can't self-right. They're stuck on their weapon. And complete control are being counted as immobilized. Mousetrap, I think, you're immobilized. Siege. As their drive gone again. Oh, the flipper works. And Siege is called after a very quick fight. And I'm being told that Siege more mobile than the other three. And it's Siege who will be going on through. And if you want my opinion, that was probably one of the more lackluster Losers Melees we've ever had on Robot Wars. But there you go, complete control, flipped up and over and immobilized. Mousetrap also immobilized. Siege goes through, so this is how it looks. Siege will be taking on former champions Sub-Zero. But first, it's Mortis hoping to get a bit of rematch vengeance against the spinning flywheel of Hypnodisc.
Robot ears, stand by.
Mortis with the lifting arm and Tanto blade didn't really struggle in that fight with Mousetrap, and neither did Hypnodisc against Siege. Their spinning lethal flywheel tore them apart. How will it stand up, though, to the silicon carbide armor of Mortis, I wonder, though?
3, 2, 1. Activate.
This should be interesting. And this is actually a bit of a grudge match, because they did fight before back in Series 1, along with Atomic. And of course, they didn't really fight each other long enough. Mortis dropping their axe, missing, and Hypnodisc nearly going down the pit, and Mortis nearly following suit. Well, something's come up from Mortis and Hypnodisc. Oh! What were you doing? What are you driving into the pit for? Oh, look at this. This was earlier on, almost down the pit, and Mortis nearly doing the same thing, and then, for some reason, a panel comes off of Mortis, but Hypnodisc, under no pressure or anything, just drives head first into the pit. Well, that was stupid, wasn't it? Because now you're out. What absolute stupid driving there from Hypnodisc. They've thrown their chance of winning this out. Mortis goes through. Next up, Sub-Zero and Siege.
Robot ears, stand by.
A good flipper frenzy this ought to be. Hopefully, at least. Sub-Zero, former reigning champions with a CO2 flipper. And Siege, our All-Stars champion with their CO2 flipper. And technical gremlins that have been plaguing them this entire series. Have they been able to do anything to fix that, I wonder?
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Well, we're gonna find out. They're both very quick, and Sub-Zero already on the flipper of Siege. And Siege so far on top, but now flung away by Sub-Zero. And flipped again. And Sub-Zero pressurizing Siege. Another flip. And up and over, Siege can right themselves, and do so. Okay, maybe not. Now they do, and flung away. Doing a couple somersaults sideways in the air, a couple barrel rolls from the flip from Sub-Zero. Look at that. Okay, maybe just the one. I guess that's all just too many. But Sub-Zero constantly going in, trying to find a good angle of attack on Siege, who I think has broken down again. And I think they did that earlier on in this fight. There's no movement from Siege. Sub-Zero being attacked and bullied by the arena spikes. Trying to flip Siege away. They could try. Oh! And Siege flipping Sub-Zero onto the arena wall now. And Sub-Zero has to self-right. The drive may be gone. The flipper, however, is not. Can Sub-Zero... Okay, that had to have been more barrel rolls. But Sub-Zero trying desperately to get Siege out the arena. Self-rights away. And Siege flipped up and over again, and now flung out. And that's it. Oh, out Sub-Zero. You need to creep yourself into the pit there. Oh. Nice stop, but it's Sub-Zero going through to face Mortis in the All-Stars Heat Final. Dear oh dear, what a shame for Siege. Our All-Stars champions crash out. They've had a horrid series this time around. Hope to see them back again and do better, but Siege are out now. Sub-Zero goes through to join up with Mortis in the Heat 2 All-Stars Heat Final. And this is going to be a rather interesting Heat Final, I think. Can we get another episode, or is it going to be self-explanatory? How's this for a Heat Final? I honestly have my thoughts of how this will end, and it will be tragic for one of them, but nevertheless, these are our two All-Star Heat finalists for Heat 2, Mortis and Sub-Zero. Quick recap how they got here. Mortis didn't really struggle against Mousetrap, never really got off the mark. They couldn't lift them up though. Couldn't lift and flip them over, which is a bit of a worry. I guess it was the design, but Mortis still able to push and drop Mousetrap into the pit. And then Hypnodisc. A bit of a surprise. Almost went down the pit there. Mortis nearly fell as well. And then Hypnodisc, under no pressure, just dive-bombed the pit. Rather stupidly as well, I might add. Sub-Zero, meanwhile, gave chase to Complete Control. And that was their major error. Colliding with the wall, and that gave Sub-Zero the chance to get underneath and throw them at the arena. And then Siege flipped onto the wall, and from here on, you'd see something interesting, which was Sub-Zero weren't able to throw Siege out of the arena so easily. They tried and tried, but just could not pull it off until this flip here, and then another flip, and out they went, and almost went in the pit in the process.
Roboteers, stand by.
Mortis with the lifting arm and the Tanto blade, and Sub-Zero with the CO2 powered flipper, and former reigning champions.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
And I said before, I see how this is going to end, and it's with Mortis going out, because Mortis has a high ground clearance. Don't do a Mary dodge. Oh, Sub-Zero's in the pit! Well, I didn't see that coming! What? I was half right! I said this was going to end tragically, but it didn't end the way I thought it would! Mortis stands victorious, and Sub-Zero's in the pit! They crashed out, and it's Mortis going through to the All-Stars Grand Final! Holy cow, I did not see that coming! A major shocking upset as Mortis dances Sub-Zero down the pit and out as Mortis trails through to the Grand Finals. Well done to them, and can't wait to see how they do. But until then, take care, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.